Well, just a few short days ago, this looked very different. This track was over there. It was surrounded by blue construction paper and trackside objects, but now it's a depressing uh, desk once again that's been painted over with cheap Walmart acrylic paint. Uh, don't ask me why. Uh, but yeah, it's over finally. 8 months later, I really only spent maybe 4 or 5 months working on it sporadically. Um, it had sat on the table for 8 months. There was a long delay because I wanted to get a couple of custom die-cast cars included in the race because this this project is a menagerie of pieces of me. Custom cars, um, NASCAR, obviously, stop motion, all big, crucial pieces of my life. At least the last 12 years or so. The only thing that's really missing is Robbie Gordon. He's not in this race. I couldn't find a Turtle Wax car, and I could have included his 2002 singular wireless scheme, but it would not have been historically accurate, which was one of the objectives of this project as well. Historically accurate, yet a recreation of a race that never was, involving drivers who, some of which are now deceased. And anyway, I'm rambling on at this point. But yeah, so cleanup continues there, and lots and lots of editing ahead. So anyway, that is done and over with. I still have to shoot some FMV and edit the entire thing, obviously, but the stop motion aspect of it is done and over. So, on the side, I have this 1987, and I don't know if it's a 1987 release, but it is a 1987 Buick LeSabre, and what a beautiful piece this is. They had it listed at like 30 cents on eBay, with $6 shipping, of course. You can have a great deal online for something, and then you just get screwed on the shipping. But to my surprise, there's no suspension damage. There's a little scuff at the side. It's going to become a custom anyway, so who cares? That makes me less guilty about turning it into something else, because it's a flawed piece as it is, and this is probably well produced. They probably exist in large quantities, and there's quite a bit of them online. So, but the things that I really love about this car, and do make me somewhat feel bad, is that there are real sponsors at the side. There's International Harvester, you have Bell, I believe they make helmets, Valvoline, Edelbrock, the Buick licensing, of course, which... Alright, that wasn't... That was like that before. Good. Okay. Yeah, you have the Buick licensing. I don't know who the Carolina Kid is, or whoever that's inspired by. Obviously, it's just a generic scheme with real sponsors. It's really cool. It's just a really nice piece. It's got shiny rims, but it's going to become the 1986 Race Hill Farms Buick that Morgan ran in the NASCAR Cup Series, and I believe he won Atlanta when it was the old configuration, just like almost like a bigger Dover, but obviously not concrete. I don't know. Some people might get mad at that comparison, but whatever. I meant like the shape, and the banking is kind of similar as well. Also, this Morgan Shepherd 89, which is wildly inaccurate. It's got headlights from 2005. It's got the nationwide decal from 2008. It's got the John Deere green, which changed in 2008 to like more of a lighter metallic green and gold wheels. I don't know when it was gold wheels, but it sure looks good. And there's no Racing for Souls logo on the rear either. So I put it at the top. I put it in gold. I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday, and, regardless of their beliefs, they were very helpful in getting this nice gold lettering for this Morgan Shepherd car. It's somewhat accurate to the Racing for Souls logo that was on the rear of his car. It's not exactly the same font, but I think it's somewhat close. And I put 2008 because, I felt like that space should be utilized, and even though the car is not accurate, I'll just call it a 2008 anyway. And I was yesterday years old when I found out that it was Faith Motorsports at the time and not Shepherd Racing Ventures. So anyway, Quentin will really enjoy this. Quentin is probably watching this, and I hope to get that out to him soon. I did have to cram some letters in at the very end there, so I'm not 100% satisfied with it, but nevertheless, it still looks good. And then we have some cars from 2000, just gorgeous cars. I mean, in my opinion, I think that was the prettiest year for NASCAR Winston Cup, as far as the liveries go. Marred with tragedy, but at least the paint schemes were very nice. You had this Citgo car that they changed in 2001, as well as, this one and that one. We'll get to that. But this 21 was probably the best scheme they ever ran, in my opinion. Now it's like, I like plain schemes. I don't have a problem with them, but this one is it just knocks every other out of the park, especially today's. And then the Kodak number 4, when it had the ribbon. I think this is the last year that it had the ribbon, until they just made it more of just the sunset gold, the sunset yellow. They took out this gradient ribbon. I assume that's a film ribbon despite it having some colorful gradient, which film ribbons don't typically, but it's still in the red rims. It's just an absolutely gorgeous car. Then the Conseco car that was shared by Rick Mast and Mike Bliss. The 97 that was shared by Chad Little and later Kurt Busch. They changed the nose to yellow towards the end of the year. And then Mike Bliss / Jeff Fuller's Viagra car that seemed to crash no matter who was driving it. So, yeah. Which Rick Fuller started out the season in the 27, while Mike Bliss was in the 14, and then Jeff Fuller, it's either Rick or Jeff Fuller, got fired. Bliss took over the 27, and Rick Mast went to the 14. So you'll see Mike Bliss in the 27 and Rick Mast in the 14 for this race, as well as an onslaught of other drivers that you may remember. You may have a large hit of nostalgia, like I do. I'm more partial to 2002, but I didn't want to buy all those cars. This was kind of a last-minute decision, and I just decided to make a custom, or a stop motion with the cars that I had. So, and then I got carried away, and I bought a Bill Elliott McDonald's car, which is sitting up here, and a Tide 32. Yeah, of course I got carried away. It's my last stop motion, and I think it should be. So anyway, the track. The track needs a little bit of work before I put it online. I would like to raise money for some foundation. Despite this baby, it's looking like it did in 2004 when the track was coming up and it ruined Jeff Gordon's race. I was there for that race, by the way. My first NASCAR race ever, spring 2004. Rusty Wallace won his last race. Robbie Gordon had a terrible day, meaning I did as well. But anyway, yeah, so just wanted to update you on a little piece of of everything, of what's going on this side of things. Lots of procrastination happening. These cars haven't been put together yet. Most of them, at least. Can't find the pieces. I haven't really tried looking for them because I haven't really been well. But that's more for a therapist to figure out rather than the internet. So, a long ways away before this Martinsville 25 lapper reaches the internet. And it doesn't sound very long. It just felt like a long... It feels like it's going to be a long race because I worked on it for so long. It's really not. And there are a lot of flaws with it. So I'm going to have to touch it up a little with some editing magic. That's cringy to say. I'm never saying that again. I hate it so much. Oh yeah, some fake grass. Oh my god. Fake grass from Hobby Lobby as well. Hobby Lobby comes in clutch with hobbies. I mean, you would think so, because they call themselves Hobby Lobby. I think this whole video is actually cringe. I'm pretty cringe. I hate the sound of my own voice. And you probably do too. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all I've got for you. And yes, there are 3 Napa logos in a row, and I think they did that because I think they did that in real life because the height of the wall isn't very... It's not very tall, and the awkward hexagon-shaped logo, I guess, wasn't... you can't really stretch it along the wall, you know what I mean? You could take the Napa out of the hexagon, but you can't take the hexagon out of the Napa. You know what I mean? Anyway, God. That's it. Thanks for watching.